Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be doing that fishing lure trend that's been going around. I've seen it so many times on Instagram and on Pinterest. And I just thought it was like a really fun set, so I really wanted to try it out myself. So for this first fishing lure, I'll include the reference pictures that I was looking at for each one that I was doing. But for this one, I'm doing the red, green, and yellow one. And to do this and to get a nice like ombre blend, I am doing the like sponge method with this. And this is honestly my favorite way to do ombres, but because the polish tends to get on your skin, I don't actually do this on myself anymore. Like when I was just using regular nail polish, like it was fine. I could just clean that up, and there's not really a huge concern when it comes to regular nail polish, although you're still really not supposed to get that on your skin as well, because you still can get like contact dermatitis and stuff from like the chemicals that are within that, but it's like less likely to have any kind of reaction with regular nail polish versus gel polish. And because gel polish can give you allergies, like acrylate allergies, and like that's a whole big thing, that's why I don't do this method of ombre on myself anymore. But I figured since I was doing this on press-ons, like it wouldn't be that big of a deal. There's not gonna be gel polish everywhere. So I just took the yellow, placed that down in the middle, and then I did the green and the red on either side. I forgot what colors I was using, but I did show them there in the beginning. And as you can see, I am sponging it a few times each time, because that's how I would do it with regular nail polish. And the more you sponge it on, like the more color gets deposited. But I started noticing with gel polish, it's the opposite. The more you press the sponge onto the nail, it actually takes away the polish on the nail. So I started only doing one dab of the sponge instead of multiple, and I would do the one dab and then I would cure it, and then I do another dab and then cure it, and then another dab and then cure it. And I showed each and every single time I did dab on the polish, so you could see how many layers it took. It did take quite a few layers for the color to get built up as much as I wanted it to. And then for the next nail, I painted it gray. I went through and did all the bases first so I could get those out of the way. So I painted one nail gray, I painted two nails white, and I did one of these white nails has an ombre. I forgot what I did. Oh, I painted the last nail orange. And again, like I said, I will include like the reference pictures for all of them, like when I'll include the reference pictures later on, like when I'm doing the details on them. But yeah, so I'm using various different colors from like Madam Glam, Ball Pit, Nails by Dev. Like I said, I can't remember exactly every color I use, but you are seeing them on screen. And once I got all the bases on, like I did go ahead and cure them for 60 seconds. And as well as when I was doing like sponging on the colors, I would cure each layer for 60 seconds because I wanted to make sure that it was completely and fully cured before adding on the next layer, since I was adding on so many layers. And even though it's super thin when you're sponging it on, I still didn't want to end up with uncured gel or have any like wrinkling or anything. So I did just go ahead and cure each and every single one of those layers I added on with the sponge for 60 seconds. Now on one of the white nails, I'm doing this like pink, blue, and white fish. So I'm just taking that pink color. I think I'm using Beach Brat from Ball Pit as well as Mermaid Lagoon from Ball Pit. And I'm just taking my liner brush and drawing on like a chunk of pink there. And then I'm going to take this brush from Nails by Dev. It's called the Slim Shady Brush. And this can be used as a cleanup brush as well as like a small little like blender brush. So I'm using this to blend that pink line like into the white. And I'm not like really trying to blend it too much. I'm more like trying to feather out that edge so it's not like a harsh line right there. It is a little more soft and blurred. Also, I realized that my brush had a little bit of polish left over from another set that I had done previously, which really didn't matter because I am going over that part there with the blue, so you're not really going to be able to see that. But I did go ahead and clean off my brush after I realized that because I didn't want to put any more of that random color. I think it might have been black actually. I didn't want to put any more of that color on to that nail, but after I got that kind of feathered out and blended how I wanted it, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds, and then I'm doing the same thing with the blue, and this line is going to be a little bit thinner of a line compared to the pink, but I just get that on and then I do blend out both sides of it and kind of feather it out so it blends a little bit into the pink and a little bit into the white. And again, once I get that how I want it to look, I do go ahead and cure that for a full 60 seconds. So, fun fact, my dad and grandpa used to go fishing a lot when I was younger, and sometimes I would go with them. I usually didn't because they would get up super early in the morning and then be gone all day, and like I didn't want to do all that and like get up super early and then be gone all day. But this day I decided I wanted to go. I honestly didn't go to like fish. I just went to like play with like the tadpoles and the little fish that would be like around the edges of the lakes and rivers, and like I would find sticks and like I don't know, just kind of walk around and do random stuff, collect rocks, find rocks and throw them in the water, which got me in trouble a few times because that would scare away the fish apparently, and I would be told go do that somewhere else. So like go way over there and throw the rocks, not over here. But anyhow, so we were out fishing and we were on a boat, and like I get seasick, so I like wasn't feeling good on the boat, and I like leaned over the edge because I wasn't feeling good. And then when I went to sit back up, I felt something like tugging on my arm, like on my elbow. And when I look down, there's a fishing hook that's like through my arm, like it pierced my skin, almost like an earring, you know, it goes in one hole and comes out the other, or it goes in one side, comes out the other. That's what it happened, that had happened on my elbow. And so I was like, there's a hook in my elbow, and my dad was like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know, I just leaned over and then I sat up and now there's a hook in my arm. And he was like, all right, come here. And then like I, you know, went over towards him, and then he just kind of like ripped it out. He didn't like try to pull it out the same way that it came in. He just ripped it. So now there's like this scar on my arm from this fishing hook going through my arm. But like it was so weird. I remember it happened and like it didn't hurt and it didn't like bother me. And also when he like pulled it out of my arm, like it didn't hurt or bother me at all either. I mean, I did bleed a little bit, and like we had first aid kits, you know, for if something like that happened, or like you cut yourself or something when cutting the worms or the lines or whatever. But anyhow, so we had band-aids, and I put a band-aid on, and like I don't know, it was just so weird. Like it was the most anticlimactic situation. Like, you would think I was probably like 6 or 7 when it happened, so you would think like a 6 or 7-year-old getting hooked by a fishing hook would like be freaked out a little bit, but like I honestly was not. I was just like, there's a hook in my arm, get it out please. But anyhow, moving on to this nail here, you saw I did that another little ombre there with the blue and the green. I did it the same way I did that first one and cured after each layer. Although for this one, because it did go on a white base, I didn't have to do nearly as many layers because that white base did help the colors to show up more and like pop a little more than putting them on a clear base. And again, curing for 60 seconds in between each layer. Now I'm taking this hot hazelnut color and doing what's supposed to be like the belly of this, not the snake, oh my gosh, the fish that this lure is supposed to be mimicking or whatever. And then I do cure that for 60 seconds. And then after getting that on, I did take my white liner gel and do these little like crisscross lines across it that I think were supposed to be like fish scales or whatever. You can see it in the reference picture, but for some reason I didn't record that. Like I must have forgot to hit record when I started doing that. But I did do that, and then I cured that for 60 seconds. And now for this gray one, I'm doing the same technique that I did for the pink and blue one. And just drawing that line on, and then I'm going to take that, what's it called? Slim Shady brush, and just feather out both sides again to like feather out the line so it's not this harsh line going straight down the middle of the nail. And then after I get that done, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Also, I should mention that after I got the bases all done, I did wipe all the nails off with some alcohol like I always do before going in with any kind of nail art. Because like I say, that sticky layer, it does cause like whatever you put on top of it to spread a little bit, almost kind of like a blooming gel, but not like the same effect as a blooming gel. Like it doesn't spread as much, but it does spread a little bit. So I did wipe those all off with some alcohol before putting like sponging any of the colors on or drawing on any of these lines or anything. I just didn't show that in the video. Sometimes I show it, sometimes I don't, but I do always mention how I do that. So now I'm going to use the Vernal 2-in-1 Chrome Top Coat and this gold hollow glitter because this next lure that I'm doing is kind of like a yellow, orange, gold hollow kind of color. And I felt like instead of doing a black base for this nail and having the gold chrome like be like pop a lot more, I felt like adding the orange base to it would help it look a little more like a yellow orangey type of a gold. So when doing chrome, you don't always have to put your chrome on top of a black base. It kind of just depends on the look you're going for. Like for this, I felt like if I would have done the black base, this gold chrome would have been too gold looking. So anyhow, I just put a layer of that top coat on, cure it for 30 seconds, and then I rub on that chrome powder. And then for this gray one, it's also kind of a hollow finish on it. And I have this hollow powder from, I want to say AliExpress. I'll see if I can find it. But it's like a clear chrome powder, but it has like that hollow reflect to it. So instead of it being like a silver hollow chrome, and you know, if you put that silver hollow chrome on, it's just silver hollow chrome and covers up all the color. But for this, you are able to just kind of paint whatever you want and then put this on top and just get like that hollow reflect to it. There's no silver on it at all. So I did one layer of it and I thought it was okay, but I felt like it could have popped a little more, so I did do a second layer on it, and I felt like doing that second layer really helped the hollow like pop out a little bit more. You can't really see it right there on camera, but you can later on because I do show it under flash. I also show it outside where you can see it a lot. But then after I got the chrome powder on those two nails, I did go ahead and top coat with that same 2-in-1 chrome top coat. And once I put that on, I did go ahead and cure those for 60 seconds. Now I'm just going in and mixing an orange and a yellow and a little bit of that brown there for the eyes on the lures. I have seen on like other people's, like they would do different colors for the eyes. I've also seen like just on normal fishing lures, like the eyes would be different colors, but I didn't want to bother with pulling out a bunch of different colors or like mixing anything up. I also really didn't want to go through and have to clean my dotting tool a bunch of different times. So all the eyes on my lures are this orangey yellow color. So I went through, dotted those on, and then I cured those for 60 seconds. Going back to that clear hollow powder, it's really cool because it does give the hollow effect without changing the color of the nail. Because like I said, you know, I mean, you have the orange hollow powder. I think I have a pink one too. I can't remember. They all came in like a kit. Not that clear one, but like the orange one came with a bunch of other ones. But usually you just have like silver hollow chrome powder or like orange one and a pink one, or not orange, gold one and a pink one. I'm sure there's like other colored hollow chrome powders, but you know, it's nice to just have this one chrome powder that you could paint your nails whatever color, do whatever design, and if you wanted to add the like some hollow onto it, you can just put this clear hollow chrome powder on top of it and still have your design show through, or whatever color you use show through, and just have like a little bit of a hollow reflect to it. It is a little more on the subtle side, I will say. It's not like an in-your-face hollow, kind of like that gold one is. But if you do add a second layer like I did, it does show through a little bit more. And like in person, it does show a lot more. And then obviously, you know, depending on the lighting, like under flash or like in the sunlight or whatever, it's gonna show up a lot more. But like I said, you can layer it and get it to show up a little bit more, or you can just do one layer and just have that like subtle little hollow look. I think it's really cool because it is just a plain clear chrome with that hollow reflex, so there is a lot that you could do with that. But anyhow, after I got all the yellow of the eyes done, I did go in and do the little black pupil part, cured that for 60 seconds, and now I'm just doing the finishing details on the fish. So on this one, it has some like black stripes. I think there's some like black dots underneath them, and then like some red dots on the top of it. Then once I got all that on, obviously I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then for this one, it has like a bunch of little black like speckles on it. So I just went ahead, added those on, cured for 60 seconds. Actually, probably what I actually did was just set it to the side on the little nail stand. And then once I was finished with all of the nails, I cured them all together for 60 seconds instead of like curing them each individually. But either way, it got cured for a full 60 seconds. And again, adding some more black dots, this time onto that pink and blue one. This one is a little more like precise with the dots, like they kind of alternate a little bit. And then for this one, it kind of has like tiger stripes or like zebra stripes, whatever you want to like call them. Fish stripes, because since it is a fish. But anyhow, just some little squiggly stripes on there. And I did it with a dotting tool. It was super easy. It was actually probably easier to do this with the dotting tool than it would have been with the liner brush. But like I said earlier, went ahead, cured that for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with my shiny top coat from LGN and applying that to all of the nails. And then once I get that applied, I do go ahead and cure that for a full 60 seconds. And this is the finished result. I am super happy with this set, and I think it's super fun and cute. Perfect for spring and summertime, because that's usually, you know, when people go fishing. But anyhow, I think my favorite nail, or my favorite one out of all these, might be that orange hollow one. I also really like the gray hollow one, simply because they're hollow. No other reason, just because they're hollow. But like design wise, I think the pinky one, the red, green, and yellow one is really cool and is probably my favorite. But like I said, I really like the hollow ones because I love hollow. Like, I just want everything to be hollow. But anyhow, like I said, I really love this set. And then in a second here, I am going to turn off like my filming lights and turn on my phone flash. And you're really going to be able to see the hollow on that gray one. Because like I said, it does show up a little better under the flash. See right there, you can really see it. Like I said, it is a little more subtle compared to the orange one, but you can still see it. and it really does give that effect like a actual fishing lure would. Like, it's kind of shiny and reflective, which would catch a fish's eye. So I think it worked out really well with that one. Also, I was thinking of going to the lake that is by my house, but like kind of how I did with my tentacle nails, and like take pictures there and like stick my hand in the water and everything. But because I have these stuck on with the little sticky tabs, the moment those get wet, the nails just fall right off because it loses its stickiness. And I didn't want to, you know, lose one of these in the lake and like have an actual fish like try and eat them or something, and like, you know, litter and all that. So I just stuck with like my normal outside shots and like under flash shots. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.